Masters and Padawans, rebels and clones, you are now tuned in to the Disney Holic Show.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Holic Show. That's Mike TV.
And that's Jen Diz.
From Clone Wars to her very own series, Ahsoka Tano is a force to be reckoned with. Join us as we review her history and Disney Plus series.
Well, it is spooky season, and so you're going to keep hearing spooky stuff from us Disney Holics all month long. And one excited thing that we want to announce is that we have a sponsor, Risky Quizness, especially for you folks out there in the Bay Area. There's going to be a Hocus Pocus trivia, which is perfect timing for spooky season. And I believe Hocus Pocus is celebrating an anniversary as well. So this week's episode is sponsored by our friends at Risky Quizness, which is a locally owned Bay Area trivia company that focuses on different pop culture themes every single week. They've even got tailor-made events for all Disney fandom. So perfect for Disney holics. And coming up October 24th is when you're going to be able to participate in that Hocus Pocus trivia night. You'll be tested on your knowledge of the Sanderson sisters and the Black Flame Candle. Find out about all of Risky Quizness's upcoming events in the Bay Area and reserve your tickets at riskyquizness.com or follow them on Instagram at riskyquizness.sj, like San Jose.
Yes, and I just want to say one more thing about Risky Quizness. They have really tough questions. So if you really think you know your stuff, it's a really good time to challenge yourself. They also have questions for the rest of us who might not know Hocus Pocus as well. But I want to go ahead and take a pop quiz moment. Oh my God, Winifred. I want to take a pop quiz moment to test Mike out here on his Hocus Pocus trivia.
Oh, shoot.
Surprise.
Surprise.
These are fairly easy questions. So I'm going to give you that.
Okay.
Amok. Where does Hocus Pocus take place?
Salem, Massachusetts.
Right? Where all the witches are from. Very good. Who had to light the Black Flame Candle?
A virgin.
A virgin. Okay.
Yes.
You know this movie better than I thought you did. Darn it. What is the name of that black cat that I just want to keep as my own?
Oh my goodness. There's so many pop culture black cats. I don't know if I know this one. I think it's a person's name because it was a guy, right? It was a boy or a man who turned into it. So my guess is going to be Franklin.
First of all,
Bernard.
I'm very sad. Of course, you don't know the cat's name.
Of course.
Anyways, his name is Thackeray Binks, often mistaken for Zachary.
Binks, that's how I should have known. Binksery, our good friend. Darn it. Yeah.
And it's actually Thackeray. A lot of people think it's Zachary because it sounds more of like a common name for us too.
Right. Thackeray, like with a lisp. TH. It's very
yes. THA, like that. Thackeray Binks. Yep.
Yeah, interesting.
Well, very good job. You got 2 out of 3. I think that's a win. So yes, once again, Risky Quizness. Check them out on socials, on Instagram, riskyquizness.com, all the fun stuff. They are a blast. I've gone to a lot of their events, so please check them out. All right, next up, we have a very special guest on the show coming up here. Her name is Claudia. She's amazing, and she is here to talk about our next main topic, Ahsoka Tano. Claudia, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so glad.
So excited to have you.
Yes, so glad you can make it. Everyone, Claudia just got back from where?
Japan.
Japan as a whole, and she just got to go to Disney Sea. I'm so jealous. Oh my gosh.
It was so good. I need you to go. I need to go with you.
Yes, I need to go with you as well.
It was really good.
So to start off, I thought I'm gonna put Mike to another quiz here against Claudia. So you have a head-to-head competition on Ahsoka trivia. So
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm scared. Like, what
I'm
if
gonna
I don't get
lose.
it?
good. Some of these are a little hard, so we're gonna see.
Shoot.
I
We're gonna
feel
see what we
like
can do
Claudia,
here.
I feel like you are Ahsoka. Like I can't pull the two things apart.
No,
So
that's very kind, but no, it's just like sometimes trivia is tricky.
yeah.
It definitely can be for sure. Okay, so the very
Let's go.
first question is how many series has Ahsoka appeared in? And you guys just raise your hand. I can pick on you. Claudia.
Well, she's been in Clone Wars, so that's one. She's been in Boba Fett. She's been in Mando, and she has her own one, so that'd be 4. No, Rebels 5.
Rebels, yeah.
And one
Rebels
more.
5.
Another one? Oh.
Who's got it? It's gonna be the breaker here.
What? Oh. No.
I don't know if she's. I haven't seen
Resistance?
Resistance
I haven't
either.
seen it
Think
either.
of a little itty bitty Ahsoka,
Tales of the Jedi. Shit.
Tales of the Jedi.
Nice.
Okay. But is that a series though?
There you go. It was like a weird special presentation.
Yeah, that was like a little
Fine. You guys can
15
both
minute
have that one.
I first introduced myself to Ahsoka through Rebels. That was the first time I met her as a character.
Same.
You saw Rebels first?
Yeah, I've never seen Clone Wars. I'd like to. It just seemed like a huge commitment by the time I got around to it.
Claudia's dying.
A little bit.
But I think I need to because I love the Filoni stuff, and if that's where he started.
It's really hard to get into seasons 1 through 3 because it's not chronological, and then after that, it does get chronological. So I understand how it becomes like it's just tedious to see those first 3 seasons. It was for me too. Thankfully, during the pandemic, you had nothing to do, and that's when I saw Clone Wars. That's how I got into that.
See, that makes me feel even better that even Claudia, like the number one Ahsoka Tano fan, didn't see Clone Wars until the pandemic gave her the opportunity to.
There you go.
Exactly. It's hard. It's really hard.
It's hard. And any
I've
series
like 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
Any series that has gone so far before I really discover it, it's like a commitment issue too, right? It's like, oh my God, there's so much content and I don't have time to catch up. So
and you know what's also really cool with Ahsoka, and I think you're going to take us through the history, Jen, is that every one of these shows, she was different. She grew up and she's learned more, which is something we don't really see that often. Like animated characters, in this case, also live action, but they grow with us. There's very few things that do that. I think Rebels did that with like Ezra, the How to Train Your Dragon in the Universal series. They do that, but it is rare to see an animated person like go through life stages.
Yeah,
and
the character development.
Yeah.
I really liked about this. I'm sorry, the new series is like, because we don't understand how young she is.
Yeah.
And that putting that into context, I thought that was really, really good.
Well, that's a really good segue to my next question. How old was Ahsoka when she first joined the Jedi Order? Okay, Claudia. I thought you were giving me a number. I was like, 5?
I thought you were doing live long and prosper.
Wrong brand. Claudia.
Was she 14?
She was 14.
Wow.
Very good. Hey.
It's a good one.
What species is Ahsoka? Claudia?
She's a Togruta. Hello, do you not see my headpiece?
Is that what it's called? What is it?
A Togruta.
Oh.
I was like, what fell down?
BB-8.
Okay, this was some information the internet told me, and I was very surprised by it. So, how tall is Ahsoka?
Oh, like now?
Yes. Mike.
I'm going to guess because she seems not tall. I didn't want to say short. 4'10".
She's actually very tall. Because like if you look at her in Rebels, she's really long and lean. And when you compare her to Rex, she's about the same height.
Oh.
And are we counting like her Montrals or not?
Yeah.
If
that's part of her. It's her skin, her fluffy.
I would say like about 5'10" to 6 feet.
What?
Fucking tall.
Claudia.
She's tall and lean.
Claudia, you nailed it. Literally 5'10" is what the internet says.
Wow.
I was like, she has to be tall.
Wow.
I thought she was going to be like 5'8". or 5'7",
I
somewhere in
always
there.
thought she was short. I think there's something about her boots when she's Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, when she like clunks around on the screen
No,
when
but you
it's
can't
full
take
body,
her
it looks
from
short.
her live action. You have to take her from like Rebels is like her
Oh,
more mature version. I feel that we've seen in cartoon, and she's really tall. And even
yeah.
in Tales of the Jedi, she's like, you know, I don't know.
Go Ahsoka. Is she tall at Disneyland or around that height?
No,
No.
She's
she's like
probably
5'7".
5'6" or so.
Yeah, she's probably like a regular character. What are they usually, like 5'8", right?
Yeah, max.
Oh, so she could be other ones.
Yeah,
She wasn't
Fine.
she wasn't too much taller than me, and I'm 5'2", so I
Yeah.
think she was like 5'5" or
Same.
something around there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is an easy one, so you guys better have your hands ready. Well, hide your hands. Okay, who was her master? Claudia.
Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker. What was the nickname he gave her? You guys can just shout these out.
Oh,
Knits.
Tails.
Snips.
Snips.
Correct, Claudia. Snips.
Because she was Snippy.
Because she was Snippy. That is correct.
Sky Guy.
What nickname did she give Anakin?
I just said it. Sky Guy.
Oh my God, you knew
Oh.
that one too. I did not know that one.
He had a
What?
nickname?
Yeah,
Sky Guy?
because he calls her Snips in the movie, and then she goes, "All right, Sky Guy," or something like that, and
Oh, that's
it's
cute.
really
That
cute.
guy, I love it.
There's a pair of pins. I think they're from her universe. That's good. It's like Sky Guy, and it has his lightsaber, and then hers is Snips, and it has her lightsaber. It's really cute.
Aw,
That's nice.
that's cute. All right, this one's a sad one, but what was one of Ahsoka's grave mistakes that she refers to often?
Leaving him. No,
Like leaving the whole Jedi Order? Does she consider
not
that?
exactly,
No?
but like I feel like turning her back on Anakin and everybody.
Oh.
Because the
That
Jedi Order, I feel, is more she made the right choice because they backstabbed her. But then
Like
leaving
bigger.
Anakin, and she feels that guilt that he turned into Vader because she wasn't there for
yes.
him.
Yep.
Oh.
That's part of it. Also, the one that I was in my head about was I think she referred to in the new series also that she ignored in order to retreat, and then most of her squadron was killed.
Oh,
So-
that's like season 4. Yeah.
Isn't that like a turning point for her? That's kind of where she like,
Yeah,
grew
that
up
was
a
pretty.
lot and a lot of maturity in that.
But imagine
moment.
you're 14 years old and someone is telling you don't do XYZ. And you're
Right.
like, no, I got this. You're invincible. You're 14, 15, whatever at that age she was. And then you kill your squadron.
Wow.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like you have
That's
to see
dark.
Clone Wars.
Yep. Well, you guys did great. Congratulations. I'll consider you both winners.
Yay.
Yay. And so I started looking into the history of Ahsoka, and there's so much, like just so much. So I am going to just read it to you off of StarWars.com because they put it together so well that I couldn't write it better myself. So
Straight from the source.
Straight from the source. And then you two hop in anytime if you want to like add anything to it, or if you have a comment, please jump in and share your thoughts. All right, so Ahsoka Tano, even as a small child, Ahsoka Tano displayed inklings of her courageous nature and strong connection to the Force. Born to Pavti, and I'm going to mispronounce everything, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there now.
It's Pavti. It's
So
okay.
Pavti or Pavtai and Nak-E Tano. Ahsoka spent her early life with her family in a small village overseen by the elder Gantika. And as a toddler, Ahsoka joined her mother for a customary Kaibuk, right? Kaibuk hunt.
You got me.
During the ritual honoring life and death, they were attacked by a Rakshur, and this creature stalked off with the tiny child. However, Ahsoka was able to communicate with the animal, calm it down through the Force, and be returned to her family safely. So that was Ahsoka's first moment of using the Force. Isn't that crazy? So
Is that in that
kid.
cartoon? I didn't watch the Tales of the Jedi.
Yes.
Is that part of it? Oh, okay.
That's the first episode.
That's cute.
So she was discovered by Jedi Master Plo Koon, as a small child and accepted into the Jedi Order when she was 14. Jedi Master Yoda granted Ahsoka the rank of Padawan, and she was partnered with Anakin Skywalker, a powerful yet reckless Jedi Knight, as we all know. Anakin initially bristled at the idea of having her as an apprentice, and their early interactions were playful. But that's when he named her Snips because of her witty retorts. Yes, that's that.
There's a cute little moment in Clone Wars. They have like a little spiel at the beginning before every episode. And it's a really good episode when Ahsoka takes these younglings to Ilum to get their kyber crystal that goes in the lightsaber. And right at the beginning, you see Plo Koon reaching out to like little teeny tiny Ahsoka, like a little baby Ahsoka. It's very cute, but it goes by like in 2 seconds if you miss it. I had to go back and rewatch it. I was like, oh shit, she's like little baby.
Wait, what is that one in Clone Wars?
That's in one of the episodes in Clone Wars, and I'm pretty sure it's the one where they go to Ilum.
So we actually do see her as a little itty bitty Ahsoka, even
like 2 seconds, but yeah.
Tales of Jedi. Very cute. So let's see here. Of course, over the course of the Clone Wars conflict, Ahsoka fought next to clone Captain Rex, saving him and fending off General Grievous to earn the respect of the clone army. However, she also made costly mistakes. During her first stint as a commander, Ahsoka disobeyed her direct order to retreat. As a result, her squadron was mostly wiped out. So there's that thing we were talking about earlier. But it taught her a valuable lesson in responsibility. And through her friendship with Padme, she got educated in the complexities of politics as well. So she's getting a lot of education going on.
Wow, Ahsoka and Padme Amidala knew each other?
They were friends.
What? Is this also in Clone Wars? Okay, I gotta go watch it. It has everything that I'm looking for.
Everything. And she knew.
Ooh.
She knew.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
Now this part's cool too. So it says on Raxus, she met young separatist Lux Bonteri and found some compassion for the enemy.
Oh.
But she also liked him.
Aww. He's a love interest, that Lux.
Yeah. But they can have attachments.
Was he like human? What was his species?
He was human.
Wow. Okay, Ahsoka.
This helped her realize why people could have valid reasons for leaving the Republic. So she's kind of Jedi or some other sides. Yeah.
This is why you have to see Clone Wars. You don't know about Satine. Satine
that sounds familiar.
Bo-Katan's sister, and she was the ruler of Mandalore, and she has a really important role with Obi-Wan.
Oh, that's right. We learn about her in
that arc is.
Do we meet that sister in Rebels at some point?
No.
For reasons.
That name sounds so familiar.
Yeah, because they talk about her, I think, at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. Watch it. Jesus.
I know. I got to watch it. I think I'll probably get to that before finishing Andor because it seems more up my alley.
Oh, my God, Andor.
I'm so annoyed that you
Andor.
like
You have to
Andor.
watch it.
Everybody's so mad.
Sorry for the,
I love it.
For the show.
So Mike often gives me like, have you seen this random reality show? I'm like, watch Andor. Stop watching all this other stuff.
All the junk.
Yep.
Just watch it.
Very
It'll
true.
take like 2 more hours of your life. You're almost done.
Snooze.
I can't believe it.
I know. So as the war continued, Ahsoka matured into a great leader, but she was taken captive by the Trandoshans to be hunted for sport.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. That was
Ew.
What the heck? That's heck of dark. She successfully led a revolt, and her rebellious attitude served her well. Lately, she escorted a group of younglings to Ilum, which you were talking about before, with Professor Hoyang, who we're now seeing in the new series.
Yeah.
So cool. Where they underwent a Jedi rite of passage called a gathering, constructing one's first lightsaber. Very cute.
Very cute.
Just like you can do at
Savi's workshop.
That's right. But Ahsoka Ahsoka's fate took an unexpected turn when she was framed for the bombing at the Jedi Temple. Despite desperate to clear, I cannot read today. Desperate to clear her name, Ahsoka was captured, stripped of her Padawan status, and expelled from the Jedi Order. Her master Anakin Skywalker, however, never stopped believing in his apprentice, her innocence, and uncovered the truth. Jedi Barriss Offee, Ahsoka's friend, was the real culprit.
That bitch.
Mother ucker.
I'm sorry, can I curse on this thing?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Have at it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, wait.
Yes, you can. Yeah, one of our co-hosts here is Pirate Sailor Mouth.
Okay,
Yeah,
me too. That's why.
A little bit.
Sorry.
A little bit. Ahsoka was acquitted, but her faith in the Jedi was shaken. As a result of the ordeal, Ahsoka rejected an offer to return to the Jedi Order, walking away to forge her own path.
It's like they were like, oh, here you get the grant of master now. She's like, F off.
Like, what?
Wow.
Shoot.
Too little, too
Better
late.
Things.
Mhm.
Yep. So on the back of a junkie speeder bike, Ahsoka retreated. I just jumbled those words around because I felt like Ahsoka retreated to Coruscant underworld before a crash landing led her to be stranded on level 1313. Is that because of Disneyland? Just want to know.
Probably.
Disneyland's address.
Oh shoot! I'd never noticed.
That's interesting. Yeah, why else would they choose
Definitely.
that?
Because I think, was it already Disney by then?
What?
Like, did Disney already own Lucasfilm by then?
Yes, because that's season 7, and season 7 is the one that was on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
That's
yeah,
cute.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's really cute.
Yeah.
So thanks to a kind offering from mechanic Trace Martez, Ahsoka was able to begin making repairs and forge a friendship with a young woman who had big dreams of her own. But Ahsoka quickly learned that not everyone saw Jedis as heroes. I just said Jedis. It's just Jedi. Jedi as heroes in the war. And Trace and her sister Rafa were embroiled in some illegal activity to survive that landed all three in prison.
Uh-oh.
To escape, Ahsoka had to save the Martez sisters and herself by trying to hide her Force abilities and her past.
Wow.
In the final days of Clone Wars, Bo-Katan asked Ahsoka to ally against the common foe, the former Sith Lord Maul. Using Anakin Skywalker's subspace frequency fulcrum, Ahsoka was reunited with her former master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, in search of aid to fight Maul. Although resistant, the military backup for fear of being embroiled in another war. The Jedi eventually, I don't know what this word is. They agreed to send Captain Rex and several clones from the 501st Legion to assist with the siege of Mandalore. With her lightsabers returned to her, Ahsoka rejoined the fight. What was that?
Because she's not a general or a commander in the army, right? Because she's a civilian now. So they couldn't send the 501st with her, which was Rex's troop. So what they did was they created another troop called the 332nd. And let me go get it. Hold up.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh. For those of you watching on YouTube. Wow.
They painted their helmets with Ahsoka's markings.
Oh my gosh. I've seen those
badass.
stormtroopers where they have it's painted orange.
Yeah.
And then they have her white markings and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is just because, she's such a good general, but
oh my god, that's
amazing.
Wanted to do you guys are watching on YouTube, Ahsoka. I just called you Ahsoka, Claudia. You might as well. I'm just gonna start calling you Ahsoka. Claudia has the actual stormtrooper helmet. That's hecka cool.
It's a clone trooper, not a stormtrooper.
Oh,
clone trooper. Oh, so I have a question for you, Claudia. The 501st. Now I get what they are because you explained it. The one before that troop. They are also, there's a whole fandom, right? And they dress up as the 501st Legion or something.
Okay, so the 501st is the kind of Lucasfilm adjacent people that have the 501st are the bad guys, or now they have a different name because Mando was in there, but now they kind of changed the definition of who can be in the 501st, but it's usually the darker side or the smugglery kind of people, but you have to be screen accurate. And there are rules to be part of the 501st. Each costume has a CRL, which is a costume something, and you have to tack off each and every one of those things to make it screen accurate. And even Lucasfilm does use some of the 501st for like for Mando season 1. When you see all the stormtroopers, a lot of those are just regular people.
Can you imagine how exciting that would be if you were in the fandom and you had your own built stormtrooper costume and you get to be in the freaking series?
Yeah.
Especially if you invest all that time.
Oh yeah, right. You're like, that one's me. I would put like
swear.
a little sticker on it somewhere so I could identify myself.
That'd be really cool.
All right.
The 501st.
Very cool.
So on Mandalore, Ahsoka faced Maul, clashing lightsabers in the throne room of the capital city after he revealed that he had orchestrated the siege as a means to draw Anakin Skywalker to him with plans to kill Skywalker and deprive Darth Sidious of his new apprentice.
Mm-hmm. That's the best fight scene in all of Star Wars to me.
Whoa, that's a big statement.
That's a huge statement, but one of the reasons that it is a really good fight is because they took Ray Park, who is IRL Darth Maul from Phantom Menace, and I forgot her name, this stunt performer who does Ahsoka. So they did, what's it called when they put the dots on them?
Motion capture.
Yeah, so they mocapped the fight, and then they used that to animate it.
Oh, so no wonder it probably looks very good.
Fantastic. You have to, like, it is just the cinematography of it too, how they shot it, I guess. I don't know how animation works, but it's beautiful. It's well done. Like, it is, to me, it's the best fight scene.
Wow. Okay.
Big statement. I need to watch that fight now.
Thank you. Again.
So in transit to deliver Maul to the Jedi Council, God, I can like not even say regular words because I'm so stressed out about the words I don't know how to say. So while they were delivering Maul to the Jedi Council, the unthinkable happened. Darth Sidious handed down Order 66, which is... Somebody tell me what Order 66 is.
Oh, where they killed all the Jedi?
Yeah.
At the end of Revenge.
Revenge
of the Sith. And does it also show up in Clone Wars?
And in Bad Batch.
And in Bad Batch. Oh, there's another one.
Crazy.
I haven't seen that one.
I'm just going to keep telling you to watch.
You're like, here. So despite the fact that Ahsoka was no longer a Jedi and that Rex was her friend, the inhibitor chip in his brain forced him to try to comply, but a part of him resisted, and Ahsoka and a group of brave droids were able to remove Rex's inhibitor chip just in time. Together, Ahsoka and Rex had to fight their way off the Republic ship as Maul ripped the hyperdrive out of the craft, sending it suddenly into an orbital pool of a large moon. Although they desperately tried to spare as many clones' lives as they could and eventually escaped in the unattended Y-Wing, which I don't even know what a Y-Wing is. Oh, yes, I do. Never mind. I can immediately picture it because it's literally shaped like a Y. I've never seen one like parked anywhere. I think it's the weird part. The Republic cruiser plummeted to the surface of the moon, and Rex and Ahsoka were left to bury their dead compadres. In anguish and defeat, Ahsoka left her lightsabers in the graveyard of fallen soldiers.
Maybe comrades there? Is it comrades?
What I say?
Are they like
compadres?
Soldiers?
I didn't even hear it.
I felt it come out.
This is more entertaining. It's the history of Ahsoka according to Jen Diz.
According to Jen Diz's dyslexia. Funny. Haha, let's laugh at it. Thanks. All right.
I didn't hear it. I don't know what you heard.
So Tano went into You're terrible. Tano went into hiding following Order 66, living under the name Ahsoka. And wait,
no. She didn't live under Ashla. Ashla was the first name that Ahsoka had as she was being created by Dave Filoni.
Ashla.
That's so cute. So he got to like use it. Eventually.
Oh, and you know why? Because his daughter's name is Ashley, and when they taught her name, she would always say,
"You're bullshitting so hard." I could tell.
According to Mike TV.
Oh darn! I thought
he had to get it in there somewhere.
Not gonna work.
And this Ashla evidently was working on a farm.
That's in
I did not know that was part of her.
That's in the book and in the series.
If we would have watched it, we would have known. That's what you're saying. After saving another farmhand from being crushed by a towering pile of straw, using her force, her
I
ability
have a
is brought.
question. Are there other farms aside from moisture farms in the Star Wars verse?
Yeah,
I
I
only
don't know
know-
what they were farming, but yeah.
Interesting.
It says
Curious.
towering pile
Oh,
of
in the
straw
books?
bales.
This one was straw, but in the books, it was like this place that the Empire had taken over. And you know how they always eat those little sticks? The stormtroopers, like they have like like the meal packs, but they're just like whatever. They're not really tasteful.
Yeah.
Taste. They don't have any taste. So they start
Like
farming
soldier
that.
meals, right? They're
Like
ready
soldier
to
meals
eat or
but
whatever.
they're
They're
the
Oh.
stormtroopers. So apparently when the Empire farms that, it just takes out all the nutrients from the actual soil. So they basically go to a planet, destroy their farming to farm stuff for the troopers, and then they leave and you know,
Those
cause
guys are
famine and shit. It's
jerks.
terrible. Yeah.
Absolute jerks.
So wonderful. Yeah.
So she used her abilities. It brought on an inquisitor to her door, and she was able to best him in battle. This says best him in battle. Never heard that term, but I'm assuming that means beat him in battle. After getting the survivors to safety with help from Bail Organa, Ahsoka agreed to join him in the rebellion against the Empire. Got a couple more paragraphs here. We're almost concluded with Tano's history. Tano constructed new lightsabers with blades of white and became Fulcrum, an intel agent with her identity a secret to all, but those with the highest in clearances. Her work put her in a league with the Ghost Crew, and Tano was present during a deadly aerial crash between Jedi duo Kanan and Ezra and a mysterious Sith Lord over Mustafar. Ahsoka, reaching out through the Force, connected with the dark side wielder, Darth Vader, and learned a terrible truth of what had become of her master.
They didn't go to Mustafar, it was Malachor.
Ooh, this is off
Oh.
StarWars.com. They
didn't
got
go to
their stuff wrong.
Mustafar?
Was this
'Cause
in
when she-
Rebels now?
Yeah, when she meets with Darth Vader and Ezra and Kanan, they're in Malachor.
Wait, that's next. So
Oh,
Tano continued to help the Ghost Crew on several missions, including battles with the Inquisitors and the Seventh Sister and Fifth
yeah, that's in
Brother.
Malachor.
But fate would then lead Tano to greater confrontation with Darth Vader, the former master and apprentice, battle atop the Sith Temple on Malachor.
I don't remember her going to Mustafar.
I
Wow.
think I don't think she was there because she said she connected through Force and saw the fight with Kanan and Ezra versus this mysterious
happening
Sith Lord.
over there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like,
So
wait,
luckily,
Mhm.
Ezra saved Ahsoka Tano from a near fatal duel, pulling her to safety through a mysterious portal in the world between worlds as the
Alright.
temple collapsed around Tano and Vader. Although he hoped to save his fallen master, Kanan, in a similar fashion through Tano's counsel. Oh my God, I'm almost done. Through Tano's counsel, Ezra learned to honor Kanan's sacrifice and let go. After an altercation with Emperor Palpatine, the two friends returned to their respective portals in the world between worlds and their own times, but Bridger and Grand Admiral Thrawn were soon lost during the Battle of Lothal.
Lothal.
Home of the Lothcats?
Lothcats.
Oh, they're so
And
freaking
Lothwolves.
After the fall of the Empire, Ahsoka continued to follow her own determined path in the time of the New Republic. She traveled to Corvus to face Magistrate Morgan Elsbeth in search of Elsbeth's master Thrawn. She crossed paths with Din Djarin and Grogu, but refused to train the youngling in the ways of the Jedi. And she spent some time at Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy as it was being built on Ossus. But Ahsoka Tano's quest for Thrawn and her time with the Ghost Crew was far from over. And here we are.
Is that where it ends?
That's where it ends. And then
That's pretty
we
good.
move straight in, right?
It's cool how seamless it just goes through before I realize, oh, we're in Rebels. Oh, we're in live action.
Right.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
I liked it.
All right,
That
all
was
right.
a really good synopsis of her life.
Yeah, I was like trying to kind of like, without a better way to say it, like dumb it down, but I just like, it was like I just want to read it all because there's so much. Like her story is so cool. I have to admit, like I came into Rebels way late. I still haven't seen the entire series. I haven't seen hardly any of Clone Wars, maybe like 5 episodes. Excuse me. And I am also in love with Ahsoka. And I think a lot of it came from learning about Ahsoka through all these really hardcore fans like yourself, Claudia, and Mike. Both of you taught me so much about Ahsoka, and her story is so thick, right? She's got like a lot of story, and she's just such a badass. I'm excited
I just don't understand how people, I understand and I don't, how people didn't like her in the beginning. I'm like, who likes a teenager? No one likes a teenager. They're all annoying. And same with Ezra. People didn't like Ezra when he came out. I'm like, he's an idiot boy teenager.
Yeah.
And then
And you
see
need
them
that to
develop
have a nice character arc, right? You have
a
to start
character
somewhere.
development.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm like, yeah, she's annoying. She's 14. Weren't you annoying at 14?
So correct me if I'm wrong, but out of all of Ahsoka's history, this new series, Ahsoka, just literally labeled Ahsoka on Disney Plus, is her most current story also.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So let's jump straight in to reviewing the new Ahsoka Tano series.
Let's.
So it sounds like it picks up right after the history that you laid out. And then the Ahsoka series starts. And everybody should get their bearings on where it is.
Mahomeno. It's not really immediately after, because you have the Battle of Lothal, where Ezra and Thrawn, disappear into wherever the space whales take them. And then what is the epilogue? Is it 6 or 10 years?
I can't remember how long time passed, right?
I think it's like 10. And then she returns to Lothal, Ahsoka, and meets with Sabine with the mural. And then it's like, it's time. And she's Ahsoka the White with the cape and looks like Gandalf.
I guess however old Jason Syndulla is kind of a little bit of the time that passed.
How old does he look like? He looks like he's like 9-ish, no?
Yeah, I think so. I'll go with that. I'll go with
9.
And then we're now in the Star Wars storyline. We are right before, not right before, but we're watching the New Republic get built and then probably get corrupted, and then the First Order rise.
Yeah, so we're after 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Right? 10 years after that, because ish.
Yeah. And then before the sequel trilogy.
Before the sequel trilogy, after season 3 Mando.
There you go.
I was like, there's something about Mando here. It's like, it's like, right. Oh, and after Mandalore is everybody's dead.
It's all destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the coolest things about this show is they duplicate kind of like an ending of Rebels, and they kind of walk straight out of Rebels into this new season.
Yes.
For being a huge Rebels fan, how did that feel for you guys?
I thought it was just beautiful, because they literally took the mural that Sabine paints of the Ghost Crew and they recreated it, and it was at Star Wars Celebration in London. So I'm just like, oh, I wish I could have seen it.
That's cool. Yeah, I thought it was jaw-dropping. Like there was some points where my brain was like, I know I've already seen this scene. Like it looked so good and made sense in live action and like tied it together. Like in my mind, there could even be a Rebels series in the Star Wars universe that was based on their stories and the cartoons in that mural. Does that make sense? It's like very meta, but now they've established that in that world there is a illustrated version of these heroes because it's on the wall. I just think that's the coolest.
And she's an artist, right? Like the way she expresses her emotion and everything. I'm talking about Sabine, the Mandalorian. Is through art, right? That's how she kind of like shows off her emotions and does that. So like just making that beautiful mural of her family, her found family.
Yeah.
With Ezra and the Loth wolves and the Loth cats and in Lothal. It's just like, oh, my heart. I haven't cried in a series as much as I still see this one episode of Rebels and I still cry like a little fucking baby, like just like sobbing in a corner, just like it's so good. Love it.
Did you watch the most recent or the finale while you're in Japan?
So I watched my issue is that I saw the last 3 episodes in Japan on my iPad, and I feel like I didn't get that.
Right.
I needed the screen, because even the little
Yeah.
beacon that Balin sees, I couldn't even see that on my iPad. And so when on the rewatch, I'm like, oh.
Oh, now it makes so
okay.
much more sense.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's interesting how the screen size does impact your viewing
It really does.
experience.
It really does. I watch these type of shows now with headphones plugged into my PS5 controller into the 4K TV. Like that's the only way I can get a good combo of everything I'm looking
Yeah.
for that's not in a theater. And even Jen can attest, there's been some of these Ahsoka episodes where right after I'm like, no, I need to see this in a theater
Yeah.
because the sound design's amazing, the visuals are amazing. It's movie quality.
The episode of The World Between Worlds with Anakin, they put it out in theaters.
Oh, I heard.
And they had it in Dallas, and I was like, do I drive 3 hours to go and see this? Because just knowing that they were going to put it in theaters, I know that, obviously with the strike going on, they wanted the promo, so they were doing that part too. But I'm like, I'm sure this is because it's going to be just an epic cinematographic episode. And it was, like they literally dropped us into the Clone Wars, and it's just like my mind was just blown.
I have goosebumps.
I cried through, like, the second Anakin breaks the World Between Worlds and she falls, and you see this is the first time that we see real life, like, clone troopers from that phase with Rex with his camo and everything. Like, it's just, my mind was, I still can't believe it. Like, you just saw everything that you wanted to see, and oh my God. And then she looks so good because you understand how little she was. She was a teenager. She was 14.
Right.
And her mentor, as much as we love that version of Anakin, he was also just so tormented as well as her mentor. So that had to have rubbed off a bit as well. Gosh, but yeah, the other scenes where I don't think I cried, but my jaw was dropped and mouth was open for a long time was when they first showed the space whales. We showed the shadows of them in Mando, and that was already enough for me.
I cried with the shadows. With the shadows, I was crying. Okay,
that was already enough.
That was enough for me.
Yeah, and then they showed it, and they just nailed it, and I was like, "These are real. Like that's how they came up with light speed. It all makes sense."
Yeah, so I can remember the episode. That episode is called "The Calling" in Rebels, the ones where you see the space whales for the first time, the Purrgil. And I remember I was working in Nevada, a 24-hour shift, July 3rd, and there was no one there in the ER. So I was watching this episode. I'm like, damn, this episode is really pretty. It kind of reminded me of Fantasia 2000, where you have the whales that kind of like float.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a really, like, a beautiful episode. I thought it was really nice. I was like, I really love the Purrgil. I texted my brother. He's like, huh. He's just like, okay, that's interesting. And then, towards the end, you see that they come into play. So seeing them in live action, I was just like, oh my God, my little space whales. I love them. I really want
That's
that
so cool.
of my space whale. So
And I didn't know there were like different sizes. So the fact that they could find a large one and like pull a little Pinocchio thing and live inside there during the traveling.
Not
genius.
Pinocchio.
They're like, we're just gonna hide.
We're just gonna chill here, space travel.
Right. She didn't even know how long. Like, she just kicked her feet up. She was ready to just hang out there in some long road
she
trip.
like dipped out for the entire episode for that.
She literally did not. This was Book of Boba Fett again.
You're
like, yeah.
Where's
exactly.
Boba Fett?
You could take it. Go ahead. That's what she said. She's like, listen, Sabine, just take your business. All right.
Yeah. That was so. But people didn't like how she was playing Ahsoka, how Rosario Dawson was playing Ahsoka in the beginning. She was very cold, she was kind of like very stoic, like, kind of not really Snips, which is what people wanted. And I was like, in my understanding, she's not Snips anymore, especially since Rebels. She's had all this happen to her. And then once she goes through the world between worlds and she comes out a white Ahsoka. You saw that change in her personality, that she's a lot more lively. She's just like, oh yeah, we're in a space shuttle. I don't know if we're going. I don't know where we're going, but it's fine. It's gonna be fine. You know, like she got that little what do the kids say now? Riz, her Riz back.
Her Riz.
Oh, I don't know that one. I feel old.
I would just say Ahsoka's seen some shit.
Yeah.
And that's also, it's such a great like story movie trope. Like I've seen all those parallels too with Lord of the Rings and Gandalf the White, and that's supposed to happen. You come back and you might even be a little bit blurry about your own life timeline a little bit. It's all over the place. And we saw that with Luke Skywalker, and people were very upset with that too when he came back in the sequel trilogy, but it also was decades after, and he had been through so much. His nephew went crazy.
Oh my God, I lost my shit when he like threw that lightsaber over his shoulder. I was like, listen, Luke. Like
I still don't like that movie.
Laser swords.
I still don't like that movie.
Whatever.
Last Jedi.
So
I can't talk about that. Make me mad.
So how about the other characters, seeing them on live action? Was there anyone that really stuck out to you, or someone you were super excited to see in live action versus animated versions?
I mean, Thrawn is cool, but he's the same voice. My only issue with Thrawn is that, you know, you see Thrawn and he's like, you know, he's always got this like stick up his ass. He's got that perfect posture. And I look at Lars Mikkelsen and I'm like, sir, like, put your shoulders back. Stand up. What?
He's another one. He's been through it. He's been stuck on that.
I know. How I'm feeling is maybe, like you said, he's been through it. He's been stuck on the planet. His uniform's frayed. You know, he's always so straight. So maybe I'll give it to him. Like maybe once he lands back in Dathomir, he's gonna have.
He's gonna get back into shape.
Yeah, get back into shape. I need his.
Yeah, he's got like dad bod Thrawn.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I think Thrawn is probably one of my favorite villains. Like I couldn't even believe that an animated series made me that afraid of this character. And there's something about the animated version too, and the way he's depicted in the novels. He's kind of sexy and charismatic, which makes it scarier because the way he talks to you, it's not that threatening, but it's also really threatening.
Oh, it is a hell of a threat.
Yeah. And so Lars is not attractive to me, so it did ruin that. I would love buff, older Thrawn.
I totally get that. Yeah. Remember we were talking about this before when we were talking about villains on some previous episode, and we're like, why are they always like sex appeal with the bad guys? They always like link the two, right? Yeah. And then he just doesn't have it.
Yeah, he doesn't. That's the one piece I think he lost from the animated. So I'm gonna chalk it up to the whole thing. He's been stuck there. He's out of shape.
He's more of like a Hux.
Like... but you know who really, like, out of the entire series, my favorite character is Baylan Skoll. So good. The way Ray Stevenson is his name. Mm-hmm. The way he portrayed that character was so he was just so perfect.
Yeah.
The execution of how he delivered the lines, the writing, you know, for him, the writers, like they just did such a great job in that. And then when both times that he fought with Ahsoka, I thought it was very interesting how they did it in a way that was very, it's not performative, but it was very kind of regal in a way. Like, you know, they both took their positions of, you know, kind of like their samurai-ish positions, and then they fought, but in a way that was so beautifully choreographed, and just, it was so perfect.
Yeah, I noticed with him, his strength. Like when he was fighting, he was strong. Like there's a part where he like came at her and it was like, bah, 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 bah. Like there was no like back and forth or whatever. It was like he was like pushing her.
Yeah.
It was
when he does
pretty
the saber thing, when he just like pushes her, you can hear like the force just like
yeah. Ooh.
That's cool. Yeah, I thought I was like, who is this man? And then he kept revealing who he was, and it was so interesting. Probably one of the most interesting characters we've seen in Star Wars. He's so conflicted, but he's seen it all, so he knows the patterns. And he kind of is a little bit of a representation of us who has seen everything, and we're questioning, like, why does the Jedi have to exist? Why the Sith? Who's good? Who's bad? And so I also don't see him as a true villain. I'm just like so fascinated by him. Yeah. And obviously sucks that the actor passed, and I don't know how they're going to continue that amazing storyline.
Yeah, I in my opinion, I would rather have him recast than lose that storyline, because
That's a good point.
Yeah.
whatever they're doing, I want to know, and I don't want
Yeah.
them to kill him off or do something just because, you know, he did pass very early. Like he was probably in his 50s, I think, right?
Yeah. I think they should recast him too. He hasn't been around in pop culture long enough to feel jarring if they replace it. I alluded to or compare it to like Game of Thrones. They replaced some guy randomly.
Dumbledore. You know?
And it worked. It's like, okay, just keep going with the story. We got it.
Yeah. Even what's that new movie, the Harry Potter one that they
Oh yeah. Oh, and he just passed the Dumbledore.
No. They recast Johnny Depp, didn't they?
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Johnny Depp. What do you mean? Which one?
He was
Grindelwald.
Grindelwald. Yeah.
Grindelwald?
Wait, Johnny Depp was in Harry Potter?
Yeah.
The new ones.
The Fantastic Beasts.
I don't remember it for some reason. How funny.
Him and Colin Farrell played.
Oh, was it Colin Farrell?
Zingador. No, it was both. It's so complicated. It was Colin Farrell playing him in a fake body.
Oh yeah.
And the real body was Johnny Depp, but then they had to recast him, so the real body changed again. It was the whole thing. Yeah. But yeah, they could pull it off in Ahsoka. I'm here for it.
I just continue the storyline. It's great. It's interesting. Yeah. It's different. I think you haven't seen fucking Clone Wars. Do you know what he's standing on?
Yes, like the Mortis gods and the father, daughter, son. Yes.
Okay. So like he's standing on the father that's pointing to this beacon of light to something. Yeah. And the son is there, which is like, is the son Anakin? Because Anakin was the representation of the son in that arc. And we know that Ahsoka, it has the essence of the daughter, right? Because the daughter dies, and Ahsoka dies, and the daughter gives her life to Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what the fuck?
And is that when that owl thing shows up too?
Yes.
Ooh.
And the owl is like the connection, I feel like, between the world between worlds and reality. And like
that's bird really cool.
Is like,
and they showed the owl. It came at the very end of the finale of Ahsoka. Yet another thing come to live action, and I'm just like, oh my god, I know what that is. That's so cool.
You know how they sell the shoulder buddies for everything? Disney, what the hell are you doing? Get me a Morai.
It should pair with the ears. It should come together. Yeah.
Like, I want a Morai, because literally, like, that's all I want. Like a little Morai on my shoulder.
That would be very cute. And they probably sell a bazillion of them, I'm sure.
Take my money. She's got a Nuimo now. You know that, right?
Wait, what?
A Nuimo? The little plush that you
the little Disney thingies.
Yeah,
you could change them.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been pronouncing that way wrong this whole time.
How would you say it?
I think I always say like new emos or something like, I don't know. I thought it started with an N. I don't even know. Amoebas. I don't know.
I also want to talk about just the cool like parallels and homages to just other literature and pop culture that Dave Filoni is putting in there. Even the episode title. So the finale was based
The Lion,
off
the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And the whole thing and who gets left behind. I remember reading that book, and there's a whole prequel too where the witch sticks her arms through and then only half of it. And that's how the light post ends up where it ends in the snow in Narnia, all that stuff. So as soon as the episode started, I was like, oh my God, someone's going to be stuck on this side and then someone's going to go home. Who is it going to be? I was getting stressed out. And then there's a witch involved. And then the whole flip of, right? This is a spoiler episode. They ended up switching places. We spoiled Clone Wars and Rebels, all of it. But now who's left there? Ahsoka and Sabine are now left. They
literally just swapped places.
They swapped, yeah. Ezra's like on his way back home. But I thought that was cool how they had the title and then there were some themes. And then another one, we talked about the witches. There was they used the line from Macbeth in one of the episodes, and the witches' names are even they like rhyme with the regular names of the witches from that Shakespeare thing. So cool, so cool. What do you think of the witches, Claudia?
I love the witches, but I also play Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order. Have you played the game?
I played the first half. I didn't get up to any of those cool things yet.
So you never got to Dathomir.
First third, yeah.
But like it's super cool because like, I mean, the witches are awesome in Clone Wars because you get Asajj Ventress and Mother Talzin and everybody. So just seeing them in real life, in live action, cool. I was just like, they look amazing.
They're scary.
And then
so scary.
I was listening to New Rock Stars on YouTube, and he described how the headpiece dresses that they have, like one of them's pointy, one of them has 2 points, and then the other one I can't remember what she has. And from mythology and whatnot, like the pointy one was the one that like holds the thread. The one with the scissors is the one that like cuts the thread of the fate. Like, they what's beautiful is like the things they do, the names that they take aren't just random. Like they always mean something. And
very thoughtful.
Having the costume team also be like, okay, so we're going to incorporate these pieces in this manner to, kind of like get that essence, but also look fabulous.
Yeah.
That's funny. I related them to the Sanderson sister.
Which they were probably also based off of. Yeah. It's always the 3, right? The 3 witches.
3, and they have the different hairstyles too. That's what made me think of them.
Yeah. It's amazing. I loved it. And Anakin mentioned Asajj Ventress, and I was like, if these people bring me Asajj Ventress, I will lose my shit. Because
let's talk about that. The whole thing about how they brought Anakin back in so many ways, not literally. Like there was the training projection,
the hollow,
and that got to bring up who you talked about,
the Force Ghost.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that was the first time we saw Anakin as a Force Ghost, right? No,
we saw him in the original.
Is trilogy, it in Clone Wars?
What did they change? They changed the original trilogy at the ending, right?
And Return of the Jedi. He's on at the end.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Like how they remade them?
They added him in like the Jabba the
Hutt At first, thing? I think it was the older bald guy, right?
Yes.
And then they put Anakin. Yeah. I mean, they put Hayden in. They swapped it out.
Okay. What was I going to ask you about that? The scene where it was live action in Ahsoka, him and little Ahsoka in that big, like, war, whatever was going on. Is that an actual copy of a scene from Clone Wars?
Ish. Yes.
Ish. Okay. How ish?
Well, because you see the Twi'leks, so you know that they're on Ryloth. And I believe that's that episode where she takes the squadron and they die.
Oh.
Right. So, but it's not copied like they did at the beginning of the series, like scene for scene kind of deal.
No. Because like she's just walking through, and she's like, "But this is the Clone Wars," and he's like, "Yeah."
Right. It's like she stepped into Clone Wars series and was walking through the memories of it.
That's memory, cool. But I thought like that cinematography of Anakin just walking away, and he's got the troops. And then like it hazes off and you see Vader, and then it flashes back, and you're just like, oh my god,
goosebumps, so good.
That I was just like tears
gave me like Christmas Carol vibes, where like they could kind of see the past and they're like in it, but things are still moving around them, but they're kind of invincible and like reviewing it, but not. That gave me those vibes. It's really interesting how they did that.
So there's one more Narnia connection that I want to bring up. So the space in Narnia, when you go through the wardrobe and you decide where you're going to go, do you know what that little forest is called? It's called the wood between the worlds.
Oh, but that's where he took the name from.
Yeah. So even way back when they came up with World Between Worlds, they already were like Narnia thinking. I love it.
But he's always been into like mythology, and he takes a lot from Lord of the Rings and
that's so cool.
Other books like that as inspiration or whatever you want to call it.
So, do you want to do like a final rating out of 5 stars? What did everybody think of Ahsoka, the series itself on Disney Plus?
I mean, I loved it. I would give it a 5. Like I didn't see anything
4.5.
wrong with it.
I'm not happy with I'm not happy with the ending. I just feel like it could have been a longer series.
Yeah, I could have
I
done
kept
more.
saying at the ending, I remember there was like 3 minutes probably solid of no dialogue and just those long stares from numerous people. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Star Wars stare.
Yeah.
And it was
The
like
ending.
we went
longing, the looking out to yonder is what I call
yeah,
it.
it was like the
Yeah.
girl that reminds me of Game of Thrones, the blonde, or like Sia, like the blonde girl with the bangs. You know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
yeah. Where she raises her red lightsaber at the
Yeah,
end.
her red. She's just doing silent,
Shin
and then it goes to
Hottie.
yeah,
Shin Hottie. She's
I want to
hot.
know so much about that character too. Like,
yeah.
what is going on with
And then
her?
Balin did the same thing, and then Hayden did the same thing, or Anakin. So it's like all of them in a row, and then it just the finale just made me say like, oh, of course there's gonna be season 2. Like, there's no way that this is just like a cut. This is like
Yeah, but I just felt like it didn't. Nothing ended. Like nothing wrapped up.
Yeah.
right.
It felt like a
Everything-
chapter 1 of a
Yeah, everything was just
thing.
left super
Yeah.
open, and nothing was able to be completed except okay, Ezra went home, but now what?
yeah.
There was that part
Bronze and
though
Dathomir.
at the
the fuck?
end where oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the fact that we went to an entire different galaxy
Yeah.
in this.
Well, they
Crazy.
switch when we talk about this. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
Ezra. Hello, we didn't talk about Ezra. Okay, let's talk about Ezra because I had the biggest crush on animated Ezra.
Oh,
Right? And so I was like, they better not ruin it. And I think they did a good job.
he's fucking perfect.
So perfect.
Talks like
Yeah.
him, acts like him.
Wait, it's the same, but is it the same actor?
No.
No.
Oh, it wasn't? I thought it was for
No.
Ezra.
No.
They,
Wow,
yeah, they did
good
such a
then.
good job.
Good casting, yeah.
And
Yeah.
the way he, like the little snippets with Sabine, you know, like the little back and forth that they did.
Yeah.
And when he picks up the comm of the stormtrooper,
Oh yeah, that's totally something he would do in Rebels.
and then
yeah.
he dresses as him. I'm like, this is Rebels, and the force
yeah.
push. You know,
Oh,
like,
the force push.
Oh my god,
Yes.
so good. That
Oh,
reminded
and
me
Chopper
of like,
knew who he was. Chopper was
course.
like,
Chopper's so cute.
he's like,
can't
I got
stand-
you.
He is so freaking adorable. I wish he had his arms at Disneyland because he's so
I
expressive.
know.
I have some questions for you guys. So
Yes.
at the end, first of all, I was gonna say the force push reminds me of like in video games where you learn the double jump finally,
Yes,
right? It's like
yeah.
the and the push. It was so cool. But in the very end, they showed Thrawn and the sisters like traveling away, but they had all those crates. Do we know what those are?
The coffins.
The belief is that they're either the dead, the sisters, right? The Night Sisters.
Oh, they're all the dead. All those are Night Sisters.
That's what the belief is, because when in Rebels
Oh my
they
god.
do reanimate the Night Sisters, and when you play Fallen Order and you go to Dathomir, they're like in these cocoons, and when you walk through them, the Night Sisters literally like fall, and like you're fighting these zombies, and they're terrible. They're terrible to fight because they attack you in groups.
Oh my god.
Ooh, that's scary.
We also
I mean,
did-
this finale, when I felt the zombies were coming, I thought, no way, like this is just too cool. And then they're freaking stormtrooper
I was
zombies.
gonna say we didn't even talk about the stormtrooper zombies.
But we need
That
to
was
talk about
wild.
the stormtroopers because I have never seen such cool costuming
So
for
cool.
stormtroopers.
Yes.
Every
To me,
single one feels like individual too.
I think I need to understand this. So I know in Rebels there was a big battle and they all got pretty much destroyed. So I'm assuming that's why they look all like messed up.
they didn't get
right?
destroyed. They just got stranded
They're not
with
destroyed, but like
Homeboy with Thrawn
fucked
on
up.
that planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've been on
But
this planet
then-
for 10 years with the one pair of clothes.
they
Yeah.
had some weird like other faces and some of them had weird shit on them. Like what was the deal with that?
So the deal with that is
And all the red strapping and
So the
stuff?
red strapping comes from the Night Sisters. So obviously, you know,
Mm.
they've got that connection of the Night Sisters. Like, are they reanimating them? Do they have like a purpose with them now that they serve them as well? But then the cool thing about the broken armor is that it's put together with like that gold filling. And that's this Japanese art of kintsugi, I think it's called, where like a vase breaks, but then you put it together with this little gold thing. So like anything that breaks can like be put back together in a
It's so
beautiful
cool.
way.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And there's one of the costumers, Shauna Tripsick, she's on Instagram, and she's also in the Ahsoka Tano cosplay group on Facebook. She'll post like things about the costuming and whatnot that she does
That's
on
cool.
these shows. And that
I
was
love that
so
they keep
fun.
going back to not just the samurai martial arts, but even these type of things, the way the Japanese lived and honored their dead and respected. So fascinating.
And the moves that she does on the, you know, when she's practicing Sabine and when Ahsoka's practicing, that all comes from like samurai legends and not legends, but you know, from history.
What's up with the very unsettling, like his lieutenant with the gold face on the stormtrooper mask? That is so creepy to me. It's so good. It's like I've never seen anything like that in Star Wars, so it was so fresh when it came on screen.
That's why I loved it. I was like, I never wanted to build like a stormtrooper, but now I was like, I really want to do that.
Yeah,
I want to be one
of
of
the
them.
cool things.
Yeah.
And I like that when they reanimated, they sounded like zombies now. They're just like, blah. It was very scary, and my mind was just
their
confused.
movements
Mashup.
were so different. I was like, wow, all of these people who played that part, like they're like straight stormtroopers, and now they're kind of like like just what?
And the one with the broken mask that you could see like the face.
Ooh, that is so scary.
So
which
creepy.
just shows that, right? That stormtrooper must have been rotting for a while. So it couldn't have been the first time it was reanimated. Right? He was all effed up.
Yeah. Or from the crypts.
Or from the crypts, yep. The Bloods in the crypt, not just the crypts under like crypt keepers. While we're talking about that, I do have a fan theory that I want to express. I haven't seen this on YouTube videos yet. I hope I do, but I'm thinking that all of this dark magic, and I love seeing the magic and seeing the Force as like green mist in different ways. This is what's going to create that whole storyline with Palpatine in a sequel trilogy. So they're almost like fixing or retconning the sequel trilogy by showing you what all that dark magic does and how it can resurrect Palpatine, because he looked zombie-like when he was in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And then I never knew who there was this huge audience in the stadium at the end of Rise of Skywalker of like hooded people. Yeah, an Exegol. So perhaps that's some combo of all of these resurrected things and they're just like chanting. I hope they kind of fix. I hope Filoni makes the sequel trilogy better by making the story better in his work, if that makes sense.
I see where you're going with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine. But I've always liked magic with, magic with a K, how they always said it in Clone Wars. Because I feel like the Force is one thing in this galaxy, right? It's this Jedi religion. But in Peridia, it's magic, right? Like the Force is magic. And how you manipulate it or how you use it is that way or that their way, right? So like it's all the Force, cool. But in different
and just like ways. In the real world, like there could be a specific resource, for example, gold or water, and every religious group will interpret it differently.
Yeah,
and how the relationship with it. Yeah. Genius, Filoni, genius. Or everybody who's involved. I'm sure it's not just Filoni, but it's just such a good.
Yeah, the directing, the acting, everything was.
Wait, so I was at a 5. Claudia, what are you at?
4.5.
Okay, 4.5. Mike.
I went as far, and we'll see if it tapers off after it buzzes away, but 5 out of 5, and I think the best live action Star Wars since the original trilogy, which is heavy. It's a lot.
That is
that is a lot. I still think Andor for me is top, is 5 out of 5.
Ooh,
so if I get around to finally finishing it, I will then have to recompare it.
Andor is my favorite live action.
There, we finally talked him into watching it, Claudia. Let's see if he does.
And
I'm clone. I'll do Clone Wars first. You know what it is? I think I like the Filoni verse most, even more than maybe the Lucas verse.
That's a really good way to say that. The Filoni verse. I like that.
And then I realized what I like is, if you had told me one show has witches, zombies, magic, space whales, and then you told me the other one was like politics and stuff, I'm going to go for the other one. But I keep hearing good things about Andor. I just need to get around to it. But I just love where they went with Ahsoka. It was like Game of Thrones. It was all of these fantasy things
Yeah.
that I've been craving.
Yeah.
I think the closest I remember getting excited about weird creatures and stuff was in Solo, the movie. It started off strong. Like you got to see that underground
did.
with that creepy giant sewer lady thing. And then it kind of just went back to regular. I was like, ah,
Yeah.
I like Solo. I
yeah.
think
It was
it's an
good.
underrated movie.
But just give me all the fantasy. I want it. Magic
Yeah.
and fantasy.
Yeah. Aliens. We want to see the fucking aliens,
Alien.
man.
Yeah.
And you know what? I want to see them in person too. So I have a question for you guys. Out of all the live action characters we saw come out of Ahsoka,
We didn't see all of them. Where the fuck is my gay couple? Where is
Ooh.
Zeb and Kalis? Where
hey,
are
there's still
my-
time. We have a series 2. It's gonna come out at some point, I'm
so
sure.
mad. I didn't see my Zaddy.
Season 2, Zaddy.
He's so hot as a cartoon. You have to see him.
He's from Clone Wars.
He's from Rebels.
Wait, which guy?
Kalis. He's a bad guy, and then he joins the Resistance.
Oh, okay. That sounds familiar. Yeah.
And Kalis, and then him and Zeb are like,
You
they
know.
got
Oh, and
something.
Zeb we saw cameo in, was it Boba Fett? Mandalorian? He's at the
Mando?
bar at one of those.
Was that Mando?
The
I think
blue guy?
Mando.
That was
Yeah,
Mando.
like purpley.
Ah.
You know who I'd like to see, but I guess he's dead in this timeline is Kanan. I also thought he was handsome.
I thought he was gonna get a Force Ghost.
That would have been cool. And he's
Me
Freddie
too.
Prinze Jr., the voice, I think. So I'm like, yeah, I'd like that guy. And he was
Let's
just
see
cool.
what he
I
looks like
liked him.
nowadays, right?
He looks the
Freddie
same.
Prinze.
He
He looks the same.
Does he really? Oh
He's like
my
Keanu
gosh,
Reeves,
how
looks the fucking
funny.
same.
Yeah, there's like
He
a
could totally
Christmas
play him.
rom-com he's in. It's pretty bad, but
It's so
I have to watch
bad.
it.
Don't
It's so
watch
bad.
that. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
Okay, skip that one. Watch Clone Wars.
But you can see what
and-
he looks like at this age.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. No, he's very cute. But yeah, the thing about when he did build his lightsaber, when Ezra built his lightsaber, okay. It was really cute. Because they was like, oh, this is kind of
Yes. There was a lot of pay. I think people who never saw Rebels obviously enjoyed Ahsoka, but there was just a lot of payoff for people who invested in that. And then another level for you who invested in Clone Wars and Bad Batch.
Right.
yeah.
I love it. Makes
And
me
speaking
happy.
of, real quick, I wanted to just talk to Claudia for a minute about the fandom around Ahsoka, because Claudia, I literally keep accidentally calling her Ahsoka. That's how much I tie her into this character. And she cosplays the most amazing Ahsoka. We went to Oogie Boogie Bash and she almost didn't get in because her face was painted. But tell me a little bit about the fandom. Like, what are you seeing on your side? Tell us about your meet and greets and whatnot.
So the fandom's like actually really fucking nice, and I've made good friends. From that first Star Wars night that we went together, that I did the jumpsuit Ahsoka.
Mhm.
I met one of the Ahsokas. She's Marrowbite on Instagram, and she showed me where I can get my Leku, which is now here. So I got that from her. I stayed with another friend recently that we met on this Star Wars night, the one that did Rebels too.
Mhm.
You remember her? Like, she looks so fucking good. Her name's Lindsay.
Some amazing
And
cosplayers. For
amazing
sure. Yep.
cosplayers. And then when there's a group on Facebook called Tano something, I don't remember, and the costumers on there even. So it's just kind of going back and forth with like, hey, I bought this fabric for this costume. What do you think? Like, oh, where do I get this? Where do I get that? I need a template. Hey, I printed this thing. It's going to be this much. Who wants it? Things like that. So it's been really
awesome.
It's been really awesome.
Yeah,
and,
sounds like a cool community.
I feel like
been
the
good.
Ahsoka community is very large and very hardcore. Like, everybody goes like really hard on Ahsoka that is into it in the first place. And I've seen so many really good cosplays. I haven't seen many bad ones, which is like one of those other things that's kind of funny, that like either you go all in or not on her. Like, you really can't pull a half-assed Ahsoka very well, or else it'll just look really bad. So like, seen some really good stuff, including you, Claudia.
It's complicated. It's a complicated cosplay.
Yeah, I bet. And then it was funny. I saw an interview with Rosario Dawson, and turns out, in case you guys already know the story, I'm sure you two probably already know, but Rosario Dawson actually she like says it's the fans that got her this role as
Oh
Ahsoka.
yeah, I've seen that.
So
Love
I
it.
guess somebody had created some fan art of Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. Rosario Dawson reshared that on her socials. Star Wars got in, added Rosario, and then conversations started from that. So she like thanks the fans for this role, like directly. That's like
Wow.
so cool. That's like one of those moments where fans really come in and make a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
This is
It
where
seemed
you
so
holy
meant
shit
to
on
be.
Star Wars, you know?
Right.
That's
And
the
you
holy
were
shit.
able to meet her, right?
I met her at Fan Expo. Yeah, I took a picture and I have an autograph. What do I have? What'd she autograph? She autographed my Mando Ahsoka pop. And
Very
then
cute.
I've met Ashley too, who's the
Oh,
voice of
Ashley
Ahsoka Tano.
Epstein.
And I love her. She's the most beautiful soul. She's a great
She
person.
is.
And they've
And
been doing a
she's-
good job, like showing camaraderie together,
Yeah.
similar to like Halle Bailey and Jodie Benson when Little Mermaid came out. It's like,
yes,
yeah, pass the baton. We're all the same
that's a
character.
really great comparison. Yes,
Yeah.
Yep.
I love
Oh my
them
gosh.
together. And you know, Ashley, you know, voice actress, Rosario, live actress.
Live
like
actress,
I'm okay
yeah.
with that. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's fine.
totally.
And in fact,
Well-
it sounds like we would have been okay if they casted a hotter Thrawn and just kept the voice of
Oh
Lars
yeah,
Mikkelsen.
absolutely.
Well,
I mean,
Claudia,
it works. It works, but you know.
Yes.
Claudia, if people would like to follow along with your cosplay journey, how can we find you?
I'm on Instagram as Chocolook, which is basically chocolate and doctor. So CHOCODOC, or on TikTok as Bebe Soka, which is BEBESOKA. So Ahsoka, but with Bebe.
Awesome. Well,
Love it.
thank you for joining us. And today we had a Ahsoka filled episode talking all about her history and then also really just
Let me show
gushing
off
over
my
the new
cup.
series. Oh yes, and we have an
Ooh.
Ahsoka. Ooh, is that the World Between Worlds Cup?
No, it's like this
Like
guy
from the-
makes
Yeah.
just Ahsoka theme. It's got
Ah.
Morai and Ahsoka here, and
Very
then her
cool.
birthday.
That
Claudia has
reminds me the graphic
cool
design of the opening credits are also just
Oh,
as
yeah,
good.
yeah, looks just like that.
I always watch the full thing, or
It's a map.
does it show up at the
It's
end
a
of it?
star map.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you could see where it's all going. Oh, amazing.
Everything about
anyways.
every inch.
Perfection. Sorry for interruption.
No,
No.
not at all. This was a fantastic Ahsoka filled episode. Thank you again, Claudia,
Yay,
for joining
thank you
us.
for having me.
And thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. We hope you enjoyed episode 158 of the Disney Holic Show.
Follow us on social media at the Disney Holics.
And if you want to get in touch, send us a DM on Instagram or contact us at thedisneyholics.com.
Okay,
Okay,
bye.
May the force be with you all.
Ahsoka lives in all of us.